The observation deck of the Celestial Harmony Station hummed with its usual electric tension as Ambassador Katniss Chen settled into the Recreation Center's reading corner. She'd been assigned to the diplomatic outpost for 3 months now, fostering relations between humanity and the Vrexian Empire, a species whose reputation preceded them across 17 star systems. The Vrexians were apex predators in every sense. Standing 8 feet tall on digitigrade legs, covered in obsidian scales, with eyes that could track movement in near darkness and jaws capable of crushing titanium, they were the stuff of nightmares for most species in the Galactic Council. Their homeworld was a death trap of carnivorous flora and hyper-aggressive fauna. They'd evolved at the top of the food chain, and it showed. Neo Torres, her security liaison, approached with his usual concerned expression. "You sure about this, Ambassador? The Vrexian young are unpredictable." Katniss adjusted her reading tablet and smiled. "They're children, Neo. Curious, energetic children. They're juveniles of a species that considers hand-to-hand combat a form of greeting," Neo countered, crossing his arms. His brown eyes swept the room, already calculating threat vectors. "Their play has sent 3 dock workers to medical this week, which is exactly why this matters." Katniss opened her tablet to the story she'd selected, an old Earth tale about a woodland creature's adventure. Fear breeds fear, Neo. Someone has to take the first step. The Vrexian delegation's family quarters were adjacent to the human sector, a controversial decision that had sparked heated debates in the station's command structure. Most species maintained strict separation from the Vrexians, but Katniss had noticed the young ones, curious and isolated, watching other species' children play from behind reinforced barriers. She'd extended an invitation through proper channels. Story time, open to any Vrexian youth who wished to attend. The response had been silence for 2 days. Then this morning, a cautious acceptance. Neo positioned himself nearby, trying to look casual while remaining combat-ready. Katniss pretended not to notice his hand hovering near his stun baton. The door hissed open. 3 Vrexian juveniles entered, flanked by a massive adult female, Commander Zarathis, the delegation's security chief. The cubs, each about 4 feet tall and covered in deep purple scales, exhibited the cautious body language of predators entering unknown territory. Their head crests were partially raised, their tails low, eyes tracking every movement. "Ambassador Chen," Zarathis growled, her translator rendering the clicks and snarls into comprehensible speech. "My offspring wish to observe your activity." "They're more than welcome," Katniss said warmly, patting the cushioned floor beside her chair. "Please make yourselves comfortable." The adult Vrexian's eyes narrowed skeptically. Across the room, Neo's jaw tightened. The cubs remained frozen, clearly waiting for permission. Zarathis made a low rumbling sound, and the 3 young Vrexians crept forward with predatory grace. They settled onto the floor several feet away, maintaining what their instincts screamed was a safe attack distance. Katniss began reading, her voice steady and melodic. The story was simple, a tale of friendship and adventure through a forest. She added inflections and character voices, something her grandmother had done when Katniss was young. The cubs' head crests slowly lowered. One of them, the smallest with distinctive silver markings around her eyes, inched closer. Neo cleared his throat, a warning. Katniss ignored him and continued reading, turning the page with deliberate calm. By the 3rd chapter, the silver-marked cub had closed half the distance. Her siblings followed suit, drawn by curiosity stronger than caution. When Katniss described the protagonist climbing a tree, she looked up and caught all 3 juveniles leaning forward, utterly transfixed. "Would you like to see the picture?" Katniss asked gently, tilting her tablet toward them. The silver-marked cub moved with lightning speed, a pounce that would have pinned prey on her homeworld. She landed at Katniss's feet, then froze as if surprised by her own boldness. Neo's hand closed around his stun baton. Zarathis tensed, her claws extending involuntarily. Katniss simply smiled and angled the tablet so the cub could see clearly. "This is the oak tree. On Earth, they can grow over 100 feet tall." The cub's eyes widened, reflecting the tablet's glow. A soft chirping sound emerged from her throat, the Vrexian equivalent of a child's wonder. "May I?" The cub gestured toward Katniss's lap with unusual hesitance. Every human instinct screamed danger. The juvenile's claws, even retracted, could disembowel with a casual swipe. Those teeth, still developing, were already formidable weapons. Of course, Katniss said. The cub climbed onto her lap with surprising gentleness, settling like a scaled cat. Her siblings, emboldened, followed. Within moments, Katniss had 3 Vrexian predator cubs draped across her, their combined weight substantial but not uncomfortable. Neo looked like he might have a cardiac episode. Zrathis stood utterly still, her expression unreadable. Katniss kept reading. The cubs began making those soft chirping sounds, occasionally asking questions that their translators rendered into perfect standard. Why did the rabbit fear the fox? What was snow? Could they visit Earth's forests? An hour passed, then 2. Other station personnel gathered at the observation windows, watching in disbelief as humanity's ambassador conducted story time with creatures that could tear her apart, now purring contentedly in her lap. When Katniss finally closed the tablet, the silver-marked cub looked up at her. "Will you read again tomorrow, Ambassador?" "I'd like that very much," Katniss replied, gently stroking the cub's head crest. The scales were surprisingly smooth, warm to the touch. As the Vrexian family prepared to leave, Zrathis approached. The massive warrior knelt, bringing her fearsome face level with Katniss's. "You did not flinch," she said quietly. "Not once. They're children," Katniss repeated. "All children deserve to be treated with gentleness. Most species see only monsters when they look at us. Then most species aren't looking carefully enough." After they left, Neo exhaled explosively. "That was the most terrifying diplomatic incident I've never had to report." Katniss laughed, standing and stretching. "Maybe that's the human difference, Neo. We're just crazy enough to see children instead of predators, foolish enough to offer kindness instead of fear. Is that wisdom or suicidal optimism? Does it matter? If it works?" News of the story time spread through the station's networks like wildfire. By the next day, the Rexian delegation had submitted a formal request: expanded cultural exchange programs, particularly for their young. Humanity had made first contact with hundreds of species through military might, technological prowess, or economic leverage. But sometimes, Katniss reflected, the most powerful diplomacy happened when you simply sat down, opened a book, and invited the monsters under the bed to come listen to a story. The predator cubs returned every afternoon after that. And every afternoon, Katniss smiled and kept reading aloud.